Hello and welcome to Psychgeist, where we talk about the psychology of the era, the science of games. I am your host, Dr. Rachel Kowert, and on today's episode of Academic Ramblings, we're going to be talking about social deduction games. You know, your werewolves and your Among Us's. It's no secret that Among Us has been the game over the last few months. Everywhere you look, you see memes. I saw so many Among Us themed pumpkins. And now that Christmas is rolling around, I'm filming this in December of 2020, all I see in the mom Facebook groups, I know, suburban life, are parents wanting Among Us themed shirts and socks and everything else. Among Us belongs to a group of games called social deduction games or social deception games. These are the kind of games where players attempt to uncover another's hidden role or team allegiance. Commonly, these games are played in teams, with one team being considered good and another team being considered bad. During gameplay, players use logic and deductive reasoning to try to deduce one another's motives, while other players can bluff to keep players from suspecting them. There are a whole lot of games on the market that fit within this category, such as the two I mentioned earlier, Werewolf and Among Us. Werewolf is a tabletop card game. In this game, each player is secretly assigned a role as a villager or werewolf. During the day, the villagers try to figure out who the werewolf is, and during the night, the werewolf kills off a villager. It continues until either the werewolves are killed during the day phase or all the villagers are killed during the night phase. When I was doing my postdoc in Germany, I played this game a lot. My friends always wanted to play, and I'm terrible at it, and they always killed me first because I'm a horrible liar. Among Us is another example. Among Us is an online multiplayer social deduction game developed and published by American game studio Inner Sloth and was released in 2018. However, it's gained more in popularity in the last few months as a lot of YouTubers and Twitch streamers have been playing it. This game takes place in a space-themed setting in which players have two roles. You're either a crewmate or you're an imposter. The goal of the crewmates is to identify the imposters, and the goal of the imposters is to kill the crewmates. So why are these games so popular? What is so fun about being so bad? Turns out there are a whole lot of reasons. First, because these games are really social. Lots of people can play, making them great for groups or parties. The games have very high replay value. No two games are the same. Every time you shuffle the deck or start a new Among Us game, different people are the imposters and the crewmates, different people are the werewolves. Everyone gets a chance to be a good guy or a bad guy. It also provides a safe environment to bluff. Basically, you are encouraged to lie if you are a werewolf or the imposter. And this can be exciting. Being deceitful to your friends is thrilling. Catecholamines are the main hormones that are released in your body when you lie because these hormones are associated with the reactions that spawn stress. The three primary catecholamines are epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, norepinephrine, which has a similar effect to adrenaline, and dopamine. All three of these neurochemicals would fall generally under the things that make us feel good. Even though epinephrine and norepinephrine are associated with stress, they're also associated with the physiological responses that you get with your rush of adrenaline: increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, increased respiration. So put another way, the game mechanic inherently facilitates discussion between players and creates tension, which then triggers and activates the adrenal glands, which then triggers and releases neurochemicals associated with the physiological rush. It can be fun to lie to your friends in a safe space where it's socially sanctioned. There's also the aha moment, the thrill when you solve the social deception component of these games, when you kill the werewolf, when you eject the imposter, when the good guys effectively strategize to win the game, or when the bad guys do the same. This eureka effect is also associated with feel-good brain processes, having to do with the region of the brain called the nucleus accumbens. Generally speaking, humans have a universal love for these kinds of challenges. It has less to do with the process of solving the puzzle and everything to do with the sense of joy when everything clicks into place. Because problem solving has kept the human species alive for so long, finding a solution to a deep, complex, even if brief problem leads to a feeling of euphoria. This eureka or aha moment activates areas of the brain associated with alertness, language processing, memory, and a sudden greater activation of a region of the brain called the nucleus accumbens, which indicates a moment of both intense joy and intense relief. It is a primal feeling, not to mention the validation because you knew red was suspect because it's always red. Social deduction or social deception games are not only highly social games to play and thrilling, but they're also fun to consume vicariously, which is part of the reason why they're so popular now during COVID quarantine, when games are primarily being played online and consumed through streaming services like Twitch. There is an element here of vicarious excitement watching the social deception play out within a group dynamic, especially when you're watching celebrities. I don't know about you, but I was very much sharing in the aha eureka moment when AOC was pleading with the rest of the group that she saw Jagmeet murder someone right in front of her. We all saw you do it, Jagmeet. Ah, the thrill of bluffing in a safe space. But I have to say, even when I was playing Werewolf, a tabletop game that I mentioned earlier, a few members of my friendship group at that time never wanted to play, understandably because my friends were vicious and would just straight up murder you. But there was great excitement in watching their friends beg, borrow, and bluff their way off the chopping block. Which does bring up another point. There are some people who do not like playing these games and actively avoid them. I am one of them. While there can be a lot of reasons for this, one of the more popular theories to explain avoiding games like Werewolf and Among Us is because some people don't like to play against other players, or some people are bad liars, but rather prefer games where you work collaboratively against game mechanics. And I totally get it. This is why I never play Texas Hold'em in Las Vegas. Will I ever return to Las Vegas? I need a vacation. But I do love to play Ultimate Texas Hold'em, which is you against the dealer. You don't have to play against the other players. You're playing against the game mechanics. And it's perfectly okay if you don't like playing these games, because there is a lot of fun to be had watching other people play them. If you like this video and want to see more, please like and subscribe. And until next time, be excellent to each other and always cite your sources.